AI, robots, and the job market, a greater threat than immigration. In recent years, the narrative around job displacement in the United States has often centered on immigration, with claims that immigrants are taking jobs from native-born workers. However, a closer look at the data reveals a different story. Artificial intelligence, AI, and robotics are transforming the labor market at a scale and speed that far outpaces the impact of immigration. Meanwhile, a separate but equally troubling issue emerges when examining crime statistics. Incidents of child abuse, including rape and murder, perpetrated by trusted figures like pastors, outstrip similar crimes committed by migrants. This article explores these two claims with a focus on factual evidence. AI and robots, the real job disruptors. The rise of AI and automation has sparked widespread concern about job displacement, and the numbers back up this anxiety. According to a 2019 analysis by Oxford Economics, robots could displace up to 20 million manufacturing jobs worldwide by 2030, with a significant portion of that impact felt in the United States. In the US alone, the automotive industry, where 38% of manufacturing robots are deployed, has already seen a 14% reduction in human labor due to automation. This trend is not limited to manufacturing. A 2023 report from Goldman Sachs predicted that AI could affect 300 million jobs across the US and Europe, with generative AI technologies threatening to automate 25–50% of tasks in highly exposed occupations. In contrast, the impact of immigration on the job market tells a different story. The immigrant share of the US labor force reached 18.6% in 2023, according to the Economic Policy Institute, yet the economy has continued to grow, adding jobs for both immigrants and US-born workers. Between the fourth quarter of 2019 and 2023, the US saw a net increase of 2.7 million jobs to 9 million filled by immigrants and a slight decline of 183,000 for US-born workers. However, economists like Giovanni Perry from UC Davis argue that immigrant labor often complements rather than competes with native workers, filling roles in agriculture, food processing, and other sectors that US-born workers are less likely to take. Studies such as Perry's analysis of the 1980 Mariel boat lift show that immigrant influxes can even boost wages and employment opportunities for native-born workers. The numbers paint a clear picture. AI and robotics are displacing jobs at a structural level, automating entire categories of work. Think truck drivers, retail clerks, and even white-collar roles like legal document analysis. While immigration tends to integrate into the economy without causing widespread job loss. A 2023 SOCIA study found that 14% of U.S. workers have already experienced job displacement due to automation or AI, and in May 2023 alone, AI contributed to 3,900 job losses, making it the seventh largest driver of layoffs that month. Meanwhile, the Congressional Budget Office projects that immigrants will add $7 trillion to the U.S. economy over the next decade, highlighting their role as economic contributors rather than detractors. Pastors, child abuse, and migrant crime, a stark comparison. Turning to the second claim, the data reveals a disturbing reality about child abuse in America. While migrants are often scapegoated for crime, incidents of rape and murder of children by religious figures, particularly pastors, far exceed those committed by migrants. According to a 2019 investigation by the Houston Chronicle and San Antonio Express News, over 20 years, more than 700 victims were abused by Southern Baptist clergy and church leaders, with at least 380 perpetrators identified, many of whom were pastors. This included cases of rape, molestation, and in some instances murder. A 2022 Southern Baptist Convention report further documented over 400 credible cases of abuse by church personnel, often involving children, spanning decades. Nationwide, the scope of clergy abuse is even broader. A 2004 John Jay College study commissioned by the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops found that between 1950 and 2002, approximately 4,392 priests were credibly accused of abusing more than 10,670 minors, many involving sexual assault and, in rare cases, homicide tied to cover-ups or extreme violence. While not all perpetrators were pastors, the overlap with Protestant denominations suggests a pervasive issue across religious leadership. Insurance companies like Church Mutual report receiving hundreds of child abuse claims annually from religious institutions, with Protestant churches alone averaging 260 cases per year in the early 2000s, according to a 2007 Christianity Today analysis. Compare this to migrant-related crime. The U.S. Customs and Border Protection reported 1.1 million migrant encounters at the southern border in 2023. Yet, crime statistics consistently show that immigrants, including undocumented ones, commit crimes at lower rates than U.S.-born citizens. A 2018 Cato Institute study found that undocumented immigrants in Texas had a homicide conviction rate of 1.86 per 100,000, compared to 3.87 for native-born Americans. Specific data on child rape or murder by migrants is scarce, but broader analyses, like a 2021 Department of Justice report showing immigrants accounted for just 7.6% of violent crime arrests, suggest their involvement in such extreme acts is minimal. Even high-profile cases sensationalized in the media, such as the 2024 murder of Laken Riley, allegedly by a Venezuelan migrant, are outliers when viewed against the thousands of clergy abuse cases documented over decades. Conclusion: reframing the narrative. The evidence is clear. AI and robotics are reshaping the U.S. job market in ways that dwarf the impact of immigration, automating jobs at an unprecedented scale while immigrants bolster economic growth. Meanwhile, the grim reality of child abuse by pastors and clergy reveals a domestic threat far greater than crimes attributed to migrants. As of March 21, 2025, these trends demand a shift in focus, from scapegoating immigrants to addressing the technological and societal challenges within our own borders. The data doesn't lie. The robots are coming for jobs, and the wolves in shepherd's clothing have already done far worse harm than any border crosser. By Scott Young, aka Sinfamous Gamer,